Hello. Hi.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you a how I film and edit my YouTube videos. Now I must warn you, nothing super exciting goes on when I'm doing this, so I don't really know why I'm doing this video. But I know in the past I've found use out of these types of videos, so I figured maybe it'll help someone, maybe it'll entertain someone. I don't know. Don't really have anything else to say, so let's just get right into it. So step one of filming my videos, step one of pretty much any creative activity is planning it out. So some people like to use some apps or storyboards, like really drawing out everything, but I'm a simple kind of gal. So I just use the Notes app on my phone. I will just pretty much write down my ideas, my title, some special scenes that I might want to include, the points I want to get across. I've got my notes right here beside me for the video I'm doing right now. For coming up with ideas, there's not really a magic recipe or magic method to coming up with ideas for your YouTube video. You can easily Google it or search it up on YouTube. I honestly just think of the randomest things, like during the randomest times, and I'll quickly jot them down again in my notes. So I have a nice hefty list in my notes of video ideas that I have. Most of them I probably won't use. Like I said, there's not really a specific way I come up with my ideas. They just kind of come to mind, or I will see a different video, that kind of style, that I will use as inspiration. Step number two is setup. This is important. Setup can mean anything from where you're filming, setting up your equipment, setting up yourself. Let's talk about backdrops for a second. It's important to have a nice... This is so boring. Believe it or not, even this took some planning. I'm gonna show you guys my setup over here. This is what I call my white sheet wall. I'm slipping. It's literally just a sheet taped to my wall. This is really good for fashion related videos, like if you're showing an outfit and you just want to have a clean, crisp background. Now you may be wondering, I have a white wall. Why didn't I just use that instead of the sheet? Well, the truth is I really don't have an answer to that. Guys, there is so many different backdrops you can get from Amazon, like tons of different colors. You can get fancy setups if you want. I personally haven't gotten around to that yet because this sheet is working out just fine for me. All right, next about setup. If you're feeling it, this is obviously not required, but if you're feeling it, dress up a little bit, make yourself look cute. If you want to feel like your best self sometimes, which I do, then dress up a little bit. The bed. Almost all my videos I will be sitting on my bed. That is a classic. You'll see so many different YouTubers sitting on their bed. Chances are you probably have a bed in your room. Makes it super casual and just, you know, we're friends hanging out in my room. Alright, so my next step for doing my YouTube videos is filming. I'm going to talk about cameras for a sec. This is my camera. It's the Canon EOS Rebel T5. This is super good for beginners. I would 100% recommend it. It's so easy to learn how to use. The layout is super convenient and easy. I'm running out of words here. If you're looking for a more blurry background, the lens that this comes with will not do that for you. It'll give you a little bit more blurry of a background than like your phone, for example, but you can always switch out the lenses, so that's not a problem. The problem for me with this camera is that it doesn't have autofocus and it doesn't have a viewfinder. And that is a big problem for me because it's just super inconvenient, because I will have to manually focus it, sit down, and I'm just running back and forth seeing if it's focused, and that's just a little bit of a chore. Technically I could autofocus it just like this, but sometimes I'm sitting too far away from the camera to do that. So again, it's not required, but it's definitely something that makes the job a little bit easier to accomplish. This is the Canon EOS 80D. It is not my camera. Sad, it is my boyfriend's camera. So I'm using his camera right now. It's a lot more convenient for me because hello, autofocus and viewfinder. So that is the camera that I am using for most of my videos until he decides he wants it back, which is gonna happen soon, so my time is running out here, but not a big deal. I'll go back to this baby. I know so many new YouTubers are starting out with their iPhones, their iPads, so I really am grateful to have this. So normally when I start filming, I will do my intro and my outro at the same time. I would recommend you do this just because it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to spend as much time setting up, sitting down, doing two different things. You can just film them all in one. So I would definitely recommend doing that. It just saves a little bit of time, effort, the whole shebang. Alright, we're gonna get into the second half of this video, editing. Hi, so I realized that I forgot to talk about my tripod. So here I am. This is the tripod that I use. It's the Slick SH705E. It actually condenses so that it's quite small actually, which is super handy. I am definitely not worried about the type of tripod that I'm using. I used a stack of books for the longest time. I would use any tripod that I could get, but I just wanted to tell you guys the one that I have in case you wanted to know. But anyways, continuing on to editing. For editing my videos, I use Final Cut Pro. Seems like everyone and their mother is using this now, and ever since I started using it, I have understood why. I have tried so many different programs and none of them have worked for me. Like, they've done the job, but Final Cut, again, super good for beginners. It's just a lot easier to maneuver. It comes with a bunch of effects, transitions, titles, all of that ready for you to use, which is super. I haven't always had a Mac, so I've used Adobe Premiere. It's a lot more confusing, a lot more advanced in my opinion. So I use Final Cut Pro, that's what works best for me. So the first thing I will do when I start editing is obviously import all my footage, stick the memory card into the computer, import all my media right into Final Cut Pro. The next thing I need to do is import my intro and my outro. I've already made these into their own separate video files, so I can just pop them right in there. I will make a whole separate video and I have to make an aesthetic intro for your YouTube videos, but if you want the gist of it, basically YouTube is your friend. Search up aesthetic templates, search up aesthetic green screens, music, text, all that stuff. You'll find so much good stuff in there. You can also start experimenting with the effects and titles you have in Final Cut Pro already. That will also bring you a long way. Now that I have my intro into my timeline and I have imported my media, the next step is to find my music. Again, there's so many different websites you can sign up for music for YouTube videos. Right now, I'm just using YouTube. Literally just search up copyright-free music. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube. Okay, I'm back because I just wanted to show you how to get music off of YouTube. If you're not already aware, you will just browse through YouTube, look for the song that you want, copy the link, search up YouTube MP3 on Google, copy and paste the video link into the site, press download, and now you have your song on your computer. Next, one by one, I will start adding my clips into the timeline of my video. I talk a lot, not necessarily in real life, but in my videos. It drives me crazy because when I'm filming, I don't notice. And then when I'm editing, I'm sitting there cutting out so much unnecessary, irrelevant information that I did not need to say, and it's just a chore. What I like to do first is look at your mountains of audio levels at the bottom of your timeline. Once you see that the mountain is at the bottom, that means there's hardly any audio. Snip, snip on either end and delete that baby. You don't need her. I will go through and just snip out all those blank audio bits because I know that's just me sitting there in silence and no one wants to see that. For some spice, Ken Burns tool and crop tool are your friends. You know what I'm talking about, the little cuts where you move closer to the person's face. I don't really know how to explain this, I will just show you. One moment will be here and then suddenly, you know? Or use Ken Burns for moments like that. This is just gonna add some movement and change to make it a little more interesting to watch so viewers aren't just staring at you in the same spot for minutes on minutes on minutes on end. Like I said, not really anything interesting, don't really have any magic tips. My editing is pretty simplistic. After I'm done clipping everything, I will add my outro to the end of the video and export her and pop her onto YouTube. That is when I start working on a thumbnail as well. That's what I forgot to mention, is while I'm filming my videos, I will take multiple photos throughout the process for my thumbnail. And then once I go to edit a thumbnail for the actual video, I have a bunch of pictures that I can go through, see what works best, make a thumbnail. Again, I will do a whole separate video on making thumbnails if anyone's interested. The method I use for making my thumbnails is quite possibly the quickest and easiest method because I literally use an app. So that is it for this video. I hope you gained some information. I hope you were entertained. Any of the above is fine for me. I will see you in my next video, whenever that may be. And yeah,